So I just submitted my passport and my original degree certificate yesterday to the VFS in Bangalore, and I'm worried that they will lose it, they will damage it, and I'm also worried that it will take just way too much time for my visa to be granted. And I'm also worried, what if it's rejected somehow? I don't know, kind of just worries. Hi, so 1st September 2021 was my visa appointment date for student visa for Germany for masters in Bangalore VFS, and I felt that not much information was available on YouTube regards to specifically the visa appointment experience for Bangalore VFS for masters specifically. So I thought I'll just share a few points from my experience so that it helps you. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing, at the entry gate, how much early should you go? So I reached around 8:12, and at the gate they were calling in people who had their appointment at 8:15 a.m. Mine was at 8:30 a.m. So he told me to wait, and he called me at around 8:25 a.m. He called me. So I think it's okay to reach like some 10-15 minutes before your visa interview, obviously visa appointment date, obviously not after, just yeah. And okay, next is you need to carry your appointment letter. You need to print your appointment letter from the mail and carry it, and obviously your passport, and they'll check that at the security entrance. And yeah, they offered me the lounge service, the VFS Lounge Service. So I asked what additionals are included in the lounge. So what I understood, that if you are unable to get a document right there and then for your visa appointment, but you have taken the lounge service, then they allow you to submit the document up until 4 p.m. But maybe in the normal scenario you need to submit it that time only, like maybe within half an hour to 1 hour, not like the whole entire day. They won't give you the whole entire day. So if you are already aware that you have few documents missing, then it might be better for you to take the lounge service. I personally did not find any other benefits to it, so I just opted for the regular one. Yeah. And the documents, obviously by now if you're watching this, you know that you need to carry all your documents according to the checklist that is available on the india.diplo website for the student visa. And you need to carry 2 sets of the same documents. So here few people have confusion about original plus 2 sets, or how is it. So it's like originals. So originals will be basically your original passport and your original degree certificate. So if you're going for masters, it's going to be a bachelor's degree certificate. Yeah. And yeah, that's all in originals. There is no other thing that you need original. And then there are going to be 2 sets of printouts or xerox of all other documents mentioned in the checklist. And here you can do color xerox, black and white xerox, it doesn't matter, what I felt. And you don't need to self-attest anything, and you don't need to get it attested by any notary or anyone. It's okay, just regular printed and or xeroxed documents are fine. And what else? Yeah, so in the document checklist, CV is mentioned. So I took my CV also, but the VFS person there, he told they don't need CV anymore. I even showed him in the checklist that, see, it's written that you need to collect CV. What if my visa is rejected because of not submitting all the documents? So he told, no, we don't accept CV anymore. So I guess CV is not needed then if you're applying for this kind of visa. And some YouTubers mentioned a point about taking a cover letter, but cover letter is nowhere mentioned in the checklist. And cover letter is different from your motivation letter, although if you Google it, the template that they'll give you sounds halfway same to motivation letter. So what I felt is cover letter is like a shortened version of motivation letter, and I'll put a link in the description which will give you basically what you should write in the cover letter. And yeah, so they did not ask me for my cover letter, but since I was already carrying it, so I asked them whether they needed a cover letter. And they like, when I say they, I mean the VFS people who are collecting my documents. So he said yeah, we need the cover letter. So then I gave it to him. I don't know why he did not tell himself, like, if they needed, you should ask me for those documents, right? And yeah, okay. And then they made me fill some couple of extra documents. Like, one was related to vaccination. It was basically a declaration that I'm aware that having a visa only doesn't mean that I'll be able to travel, because there are travel restrictions, and I should have a COVID negative test and both doses of vaccine, these kind of things. And another one was the courier service form. So ideally, what I was aware was I can collect my passport like maybe few people don't know this. So your visa would be printed on your passport. Okay, so for printing this visa, they'll collect your original passport there. Like, you won't get back your passport until your visa comes. It will be with them only. So there is usually an option that you can that when your visa is done, they'll call you and you can go and collect your passport. But they told this option is nowhere there. You have a courier service option that they will courier your passport to you, and you need to pay extra for that. First, why should I pay extra if I'm living like within 5-10 kilometers of the passport collection office? And second, courier means like, suppose I get my visa today, then the courier person will courier it maybe tomorrow, maybe 2-3 days later, and it's only just delay, and they can also lose it, or my documents can get damaged. And I told them to the VFS person, but he said, no, we don't have any more this service of collecting yourself. You have to take the courier service only. That is the only option. So I took the courier service, and then there's an SMS service, SMS tracking service. Like, they'll tell you at what stage your application is via the SMS. So that service I took. And there's and in the courier service form, there's a paragraph after which you need to sign. So that paragraph says that VFS will not be liable for any loss of passport or documents or any damage to them, like that. So I showed the person, see, it's written, y'all are not responsible for any loss or damage. Then what happens if my passport gets lost or it gets damaged? My degree certificate is there, original degree certificate you are taking, and what happens if something happens to it? They said, see ma'am, every day so many people are giving, nothing will happen. Okay, so I know what happens in India. We are so many people that, okay, for many people nothing will happen, but for a few, one or two of them, something will happen, some damages can happen. So I don't want to take a risk. I explained him that I don't live much far, I live in the same city, it's quite close, my house is quite close to the VFS center, I can come and collect, or if I have to collect from the embassy or the consulate, I can go there also, I don't mind. But no. So yeah, that. And then there was another service I had to pay for, that was called assurance service. I asked him, what is assurance service? So he told, it means that if they lose my passport or the original degree certificates, then they will refund me some amount. Like it's like an insurance for my documents. So first they are getting a sign that they are not responsible, and then I have to buy an additional, like an assurance service, so that my documents are safe. Okay, then I told them, then I asked, will this will be written somewhere, right, that I'm taking the assurance service, and it means that if something happens, you all will pay me some, refund me some amount, something like that. He said, yeah, it will be written in your receipt, which we'll provide after you pay. Okay, so I paid him, and they gave me a receipt, and on the receipt it was only written that, okay, some assurance charges this much, that's all. It was not written how much they are going to pay, and what terms and conditions they'll pay me, these things. And okay, one more thing, in the receipt there was an option called officer signature, and like not an option, like there was written on the receipt officer's signature, right, and it was blank. There was no sign on in that area. So I told the person, see, signature is missing, you need to sign this, right, for the receipt. He told, no, we don't sign these things. He highly doubt, like, okay, like in case something wrong happens, I doubt that they will not take responsibilities, but okay, hopefully that doesn't happen. And yeah, and one more thing, it says, no, the checklist says that 75 euros payable in INR, and when you go to the payment methods and all, I'll put a link. There in that link it specifically mentions that Bangalore only accepts demand draft. Okay, so I did a DD for 75 euro with the current, with that, like I could have done with that day's exchange rate, and it was coming around 6,500 rupees, but I thought maybe on my appointment day the conversion rate would be greater, so I just made it 6,700 rupees. Yeah. And then when they asked me to pay, I showed them the DD, and they told, no, we don't accept DDs, and in case we accept, it should be addressed to the VFS, but the website clearly said that the DD should be addressed to the consulate of Germany, Bangalore. So, but no, they accept cash and cards, so fine, I paid by cash and card. And other than that 6,000 something, they also take 2,000 something additional as the visa fees. So 2,000 something additional as, like, including your VFS fees, courier service fees, SMS fees, and that assurance I talked about, including those things. Yeah. So it came around 8,000 something in total. So take your card or take some cash. What else? And I'll put a link in description from a YouTuber who had shared his experience for the Mumbai VFS, and he clearly says that he had to take a DD because they had rejected him without a DD, like not rejected, they had told him to get a DD, they did not accept cash or card, and even on the DD there was some printing issue because of which he had to do the DD again. So I was very sure that they will take a DD. Yeah. And after this document collection and the payment, they called me in for biometric. So biometric was just fingerprints. It wasn't my face photo also, because the photo that you submit, the biometric specifications photo, that would be used for your photo in the visa, and then you have to just do your fingerprints. That's also the person who did that. I asked him how much time will it take for my visa to get processed, and he said 4 to 5 weeks. Okay, and I then told him, okay, then it means like after 5 weeks I can do my plane tickets and all, no, because my classes are starting in beginning of October and it's already 1st September, so I need to do my tickets. So he said, no, I mean not that much, like approximately 4 to 5 weeks, like that he told then. So then I again asked him, my photo means is it extendable to like 2 months also, like 4 to 5 weeks means can it become like 7-8 weeks also? So he told, Ma'am, usually 4 to 5 weeks, like approximate only. Better you see, like that. He told, we cannot guarantee, kind of like that. And this person asked me if I am going to come and collect my passport and document and the degree certificate, or have I opted for courier service. So I told, what? The other person who collected my documents just told me that there is no option to come and collect. I wanted to come and collect. And he said, oh, okay, then you will take courier service, right? Again, I told him, is it possible I can take come and collect personally? He told, no, you fill no courier service form, like that. So okay, I don't know what is it. And then that's all. That's the end of the whole process. Am I missing something? No, I think I'm not missing anything. That's all. And like, put some comments if you have some doubts, or like if you want a video in some relevant topic, maybe put in the comments and I'll try to make one. Okay, so bye. And one weird thing about the cover letter, actually, so I had prepared the cover letter, and I had mentioned additional documents, like in the cover letter you need to mention what documents are attached with along with your application. So those had all the documents from the checklist, including the CV, which the VFS officer did not finally submit. And I had few additional documents also, for example, which he took. Actually, one of those documents, like my current address is different from the address in my passport, so I was not sure if they'll accept my current address. Even the state is different, so that's why I took a current address proof. And this is the VFS person actually took the xerox of this current address proof also. I had taken 2 sets of xerox for this proof also. So in case some of you are in this kind of situation, then you all can take a current address proof. And so this is also mentioned in my current cover letter. And I mentioned few additional documents also, like my bank statements, because I had taken a copy of my bank statements also, and a letter from my employer stating that I'm employed here, working here. Because previously I have also applied for the Schengen tourist visa, and that time they had taken my bank statements and the letter from my employer, these things. So I thought maybe they'll take, and that time they had also taken an accommodation proof. So I had also taken along and the application acceptance printout from the STW accommodation. In like STW is a chain of hostels, so I had applied for accommodation there, and they had given like a confirmation mail. So I had taken a printout of that for accommodation proof, and all of these things were mentioned in my cover letter. So when I was submitting my cover letter, I asked the VFS officer that should I cancel these things out because you're not taking these documents anymore. But he told, no, just let it be there, cancelling won't look good. So again, I got a little bit of doubt that when somebody at the embassy or consulate reviews that okay, these are her documents, and then he sees the cover letter that she has mentioned these documents but they are not here. So I don't know if that will cause like missing documentation or something. So I'm a bit worried on this point. And also in my in my motivation letter, I just briefly stated where I studied and where I have been working. I did not explicitly mention my marks. I did not explicitly mention too much about my job, because these things were there in my CV, and I was under the impression that I had to submit my CV also. Like, so for example, the marks scored in my 10th and 12th and bachelor's, and what kind of work experience I've had exactly, like in detail. These things were mentioned only in my CV, but now they did not take my CV, so I don't know, will the person who will be reading my motivation letter not be convinced enough. So I think a small tip would be like, it's better to include a little bit more details in your motivation letter. I was trying to keep my motivation letter to a page so that the person reads it. If it's too long, then he might not feel like reading it, he might not read it properly. But it anyway got extended to about 1.5 page. Maybe I should have written a bit more about my marks and exact work experience in detail, but obviously I omitted that at that time because I had mentioned all that in the CV already, so no point mentioning it in both places. Yeah, that's all. And when you pay, when you have finished making your payment, then they'll give you an application number, I think that is what it's called. So you'll get that in your message because you have taken the SMS service option. And also there'll be a yellow file that they'll send along with you to the biometric room, so that yellow file would also have your application number. You can like check that once on the file whether it's the same one that you got in the SMS. That file will have all your documents actually, and I think that is the file which should finally go to the consulate or the embassy. And yeah, if you have a laptop, they don't allow that inside, so there are some locker rooms available, but they are chargeable. You can keep your laptop there. Also, if you have a lot of luggage, you can use those locker rooms, but I think some luggage you can take, because I saw a few people taking trolley bags inside. And what else? Other than that, there was no restriction on taking your phones or your regular backpack or anything. They were checking your bags, but nothing as such, not allowing anything, not like that. I had water bottle, phone, jackets, and my files, documents, and they didn't say anything. And there are also printing shops just in front of the building where your appointment will be. So your appointment will probably be at the Global Tech Park, and just in front of that there are shops that help you do printing and some other things, also scan, whatever, these things. And there are also accommodation options, like few guest houses and hotels near the Global Tech Park. So you can, if you are coming like from far, not from Bangalore, then you can book those. You can check the details in Google. Really, like, I just wanted to let you know that there are living options available just like within walking distance of the visa appointment venue. That's all.